and we have had a slight change to the panel actually due to illness. We had two speakers who had to pull out today, unfortunately, but we were very lucky that Jose from Gaslog has offered to step in and offer the ship owner perspective on this panel. So a round of applause for our panelists, please.
Thank you. Hello. Test. It's always the digitization conferences that have the digital issues. It's a Murphy's Law. Yeah? Okay, hi. Okay, good afternoon everyone. I'm back with you, and we are the last panel for today. We have the honor as well as the pressure, isn't it? And I think Lauren has told you all that we've had two speakers move about, so we're very thankful that Jose has joined us as well from Gaslog. So today's panel is basically, we're talking about cybersecurity. It says from bridge to boardroom, but I think we're also going to discuss behavioral patterns here as well. So I have with me pretty amazing panelists, and it's a good segue from the previous panel that we've just done. So I'm going to delve right into it, and I will start asking some cursory questions, and I will request you all to please introduce yourself before we do it. And I will also try to take questions from the audience. Since we're a more close-knit bunch, I'll also try and incorporate your questions as we do the panel to make it more interactive. So we are now, in this panel, we're trying to bring together the regulatory, the operational, and the behavioral patterns that dictate how cybersecurity will be adopted and used in our industry. So the first question, similar to what the previous moderator has asked, what do you think, Dr. Ileana, is the greatest myth in cybersecurity in shipping?
Thank you, Dr. Agashka.
And please introduce yourself,
yes.
your
Hello,
great
everyone.
career. Yes.
I'm Dr. Ileana Christodoulou-Barozzi. I'm a senior legal consultant and lead industry trainer. I wear many hats. I'm here as an academic course director of Lloyd's Maritime Academy, Informal Connect. I have experience as a law drafter for a major law drafting project. I'm involved with quality assurance in relation to bills, statutes under preparation as a subcontractor of the European Commission, of the European Union. And as a trainer, educator, I have the privilege and the pleasure to interact with lifelong learners engaged in professional development. So I give a lot in terms of knowledge and experiences, but I get back even greater benefits from my trainees. I'm also the author of a number of books, etc. Above all, I'm a lifelong learner, an enthusiastic lifelong learner. Returning to your question, dear Agashka, look, we are in the country of myths, so it's difficult to defeat myths. And in Greece, myths usually have a tragic end. I don't think this will be the case with cybersecurity. In any case, the most well-known myth is that cybersecurity is an IT issue, whereas we need a holistic approach. But this is, almost everyone knows this. It's more interesting perhaps to consider the danger where you feel as an organization or even as a person that you are not concerned by the problem. I remember, I'm still young of course, but I remember some years ago at maritime conferences where maritime professionals were asked whether they felt concerned by cybersecurity or not. And they used to raise their hands freely. Of course, the legal regime that we have now was not applicable then, but they didn't feel concerned about by the problem. And so, returning to your question, I would say that it is, I think that there is an issue when we consider that the organization cannot be the entry point to a wider attack because the organization is not visible, because your organization does not represent a brand that would attract attention, but nevertheless, we should always remember that attackers are interested in value, not in visibility. So, a few words from my perspective, which is for most part a legal perspective, and we'll have the chance to say more along the way.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. So basically, it's not just an IT issue. That's one of the biggest myths, and also the fact that I'm too small for it to happen to me. I'm not relevant enough for it to happen to me.
Exactly.
Yeah. And moving on to Jose, with your perspective on GasLog as well. How do you think the recent cyber incidents have shifted priorities from just, box ticking compliance to actual genuine resilience building?
Well, I won't present myself, but nevertheless, my name is Jose Migueles.
No, please do present yourself. I know you have spoken earlier today.
One of the things that I want to go underneath, it's exactly that. So this will never happen with me, and this will never happen with my organization. Be sure that it will happen with you, and be sure that it will happen with your organization, and then you live happy forever. Okay? So, as a manager, as a senior manager, one of the things that actually, and I will not basically speak what we actually doing on GasLog. And the main reason is I will not tell you what you do, because that will be the unsafe to tell you what I'm doing. Okay? So I'm hiding from you what I'm doing. But I can give you some things that we basically doing. One of the things is not neglecting. And not neglecting as working with the legal team, but also working with our claim and insurance management, see what is the potential loss. When everyone on the board and everyone on the manage until the floor start to know that there's a potential loss, and this loss could be meaning the reputation from the company and many jobs on the company, so is when we realize that we need to have someone that looks 24/7 for our cybersecurity. I'm not speaking in IT, I'm speaking someone. We need to have resources to actually look for the problem and trying to barrel and create all the type of barrels not to happen in the company.
Okay. It's true, my question was quite tricky. It's like asking a bank operator, where are your cameras?
Yeah.
So it is a good answer. So that means you are also open to collaborating with different stakeholders.
Yes.
Yes?
All the time.
Okay, that is a...
And it's one of the things, one of the action we have, we belong to the commitment on Greece for the cybersecurity. And we've been always giving value and listen value, that all type of incidents that we know, and if we can assist. And did happen personal with me, with my previous company, Stoll Tankers, that when they had the recent attack, I was the first one to actually pick up the phone and say, whatever you need from me, just let me know. And this was a phone call to the CIO.
Yeah, I think this again mentions a little bit of the point that we shared in the previous panel as well, where you should share data and be assured that it can be anonymized as well. Thank you. So now moving on to Albert. From a human behavior perspective, yeah, what do you think are the misconceptions that are still undermining cyber readiness? And before that, also please do give a brief background of yourself as well.
Thank you, Kanji. Normally, I would start by saying my name is Albert. I'm a psychologist, and I'm focusing on human behavior in organizations. But that's different now. Now I start with, hello, I'm Albert, and I'm addicted to AI.
Well, it's AA then. AI Anonymous.
Yes. Because the last 2 years I developed myself, because I'm a lifelong learner, into this topic of generative AI. And it's amazing what this thing can do. And it's developing from a GPT to an agent, and now to self-controlled systems that can control your computer, use your credit card, confer with you and your network through WhatsApp. So, I'm Albert and I'm addicted to AI. Psychologist focusing on the human element. My background is in education, maritime education, and I worked, although I also worked for a ship owner, I have a history of 25 years at the Maritime Academy in the Netherlands. And my primary focus is and was on the human factor. The question that I look at is, why do we do so brilliantly what we do? Because we make many successes, but at the same time, why don't we do what we should do? And that's many times when we fail. And I come to your question.
Yes.
At this moment, my focus is on shadow AI, the non-authorized use of generative AI tools, GPT, Gemini, Claude, all the vibe-coded agents in the on the work floor by our colleagues, by our co-workers, and also, of course, by students. It will not happen to me. It's an IT problem. I would say two misconceptions. One, humans are the weakest link. Yes, many times we humans are the ones who pull the trigger, but we need to look at the whole system. What we know is that many times it's a lack of control, a lack of procedures or clear procedures that facilitate human being, and so we need a holistic approach. At this moment in time, I would say we have time to respond, we have time to act, we can lay back. And I say no, there is no time to waste. We need to act now, to activate ourselves and our systems. Last week on Dutch television, an agentic AI system was presented on Dutch national television. It's called BotClaw, and everybody, because it's open source, everybody can download it and put it on the computer. When downloaded by a person who is not proficient, not an expert, say myself, but think about all our colleagues, all our children, when they download it on their computer, then it can take over the computer. So imagine, you know what's on this. My credit card, my WhatsApp, and everything. My photos, my diary. So imagine that I walk outside and randomly provide this to a person and say, hey, use this, this is my code, and you can do whatever you want. This is exactly what this thing is capable about. In this, on national television, in this demonstration, it was shown that the person who presented it bought that day an Apple Mini, bought a new telephone, installed it, and gave the presentation in which the thing had access to the credit card, and the thing managed to buy a product, to pay for it, and to make sure that that evening the thing was delivered at the house of the presenter. And then he told us, now I'm going to wipe my telephone to fabric installation, factory installation, and I'm going to wipe the Apple Mini to factory installation because this is dangerous. We don't have time. That's my message.
Okay. this does not sound very positive. We talked about this yesterday. I told him, please remain positive.
And my name is Albert.
No, but
it's a wonderful thing.
No,
but-
I'm half joking, and I think
Yeah.
that we have to have very open conversations
Yes.
about this to understand and to learn more.
Yeah, yeah.
So, okay, and I think the main thing you have also driven home is we don't know what we don't know,
Right.
and we have to accept that. And
Yeah.
we cannot work on a defensive. We have to understand how to get to the offensive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and to be proactive.
Yeah. So I have tried to structure this panel, if you would allow, because I don't know about the timing and your questions, into a little bit of what is the myth, what is the misunderstanding, what is the current situation, and how do we look forward. So now we have understood how things have been, right? How misconceptions have been. So now I want to look at what real resilience may look like. So Dr. Eliana, coming back to you, which of these, because you have such extensive experience with regulations and your legal background and training, which IMO regulations or industry best practices can have the capability to deliver the highest real-world cyber protection today?
Before I answer, let me say that I hope the legal regime will give you a sense of safety,
Yes, yes. And that's rightly so. Yeah.
which is relative, of course, because everything is a question of implementation. That said, I cannot detect a single instrument that would do the job. It's a combination of IMO mandatory instruments and industry best practice. More specifically, the departing point was the 2018 IMO resolution, which subjected cybersecurity to the safety management system of the ship, ISM code. So interestingly, this is not the ISPS code, this is under the SMS. That said, we also have high-level recommendations. They are included in the IMO guidelines that followed the resolution. This is the departing point as far as international regulations are concerned. Obviously, with the risk of stating the obvious, we have national laws. It could be also regional legislation. And interestingly, we have industry best practice, which carries weight and helps the companies better implement the standards, or they may be above the standards. Let me refer to OKIM's tanker management self-assessment tool. The latest version, if I remember well, is version 3, element 13. We also have VIMCO's and other contributors' guidelines on cybersecurity. We have class notations on cybersecurity. We have ISOs,
Yes.
NIST. So there are many tools which come from the industry. They carry different weight. They complement the picture. All in all, as far as the instruments are concerned, I can say from my stance that we are okay. But the hardcore is how you implement all these tools. So once again, the responsibility, I will have the chance to expand, to elaborate on this aspect later. It is the responsibility of the company to conduct appropriate risk assessments, address the risks, be proactive, prepare for all the scenarios, and build on their resilience capabilities. So we have a good framework supported by industry best practice, but we need to implement so that we are diligent, in good order, and we prepare for all possible scenarios.
Okay. And I think at this juncture, perhaps I can also add on, because you've shared some really good industry best practices that have been published. I would like to also share the Singapore perspective. Singapore Shipping Association, which is our trade association of ship owners, managers, and all of the ecosystem, they've come up with a cybersecurity scorecard. So this is a self-assessment tool that owners, operators, managers, even the smaller players can undertake to see where they lie on the cybersecurity pendulum. Yeah, on the scorecard essentially. And it is based on the US National Institute of Standards and Technology cybersecurity framework. So I had to Google that because I wasn't sure what was the basis. But what I mean is these regional and national scorecards are very useful because they let you know who is the best in my field, how much further do I have to go, and which is the best guideline to use, as you have correctly mentioned.
And in addition to the guidelines mentioned before,
Yes.
let me also mention ENISA. ENISA is the independent agency of the European Union
Yes.
that specializes in cybersecurity protection. ENISA guideline, it sits in Athens, in Kalandri, in Athens. They have produced guidance on cybersecurity on the level of ports. And this is also another useful instrument.
So it's important to refer to these instruments as well when we are crafting our own cybersecurity strategy as well. Okay, and so now moving on to Jose, could you share, I'm afraid that you will not answer this question, could you share any one cybersecurity initiative that you've introduced at Gaslog that's reduced risk but without disrupting operations? Because I think this is the hardest thing for operators to do, to implement new technology while running a 24/7 business.
Well, I will not give you my house key for safety reasons. You may lose. But I can give you now. Of course, I can give you some things that have been not just implemented on Gaslog, but I've been actually trying to address to you guys that everyone needs to be aware that safety is not for granted. Cybersecurity is safety. There's one thing that bringing that personal touch, that I did when I arrived to Gaslog is, unfortunately, it's a friend, it's a girl. She had an incident that she had her house robbed in Rotterdam, and she was a co-worker and my friend, and she had the house robbed. And the police went, they had seen what she lost, she didn't lost and all these kind of things. And the police was very surprised how direct they were. They didn't know exactly what to actually pick up, but they were very surprised. And she shared it with us, the lessons learned. And one of the things that did point out, and I did make a presentation, she did allow me to put a presentation, and I present to all my seafarers that was present on that conference, was exactly that. So what did happen was, she's a very social media person. And she had two lovely dogs that she loves it, she loved them. And she had pictures all over the house with the dogs, from the room to the living room to the kitchen and everything. And honestly, she still has, but I don't know, I don't know if she's still pushing that. But the truth was that, so the police were saying they know exactly what they did want and what they captured. They know the full inventory from the house, just because everything was just published on the social media. Okay. So one of the things that lessons learned that I did push in-house, and without any disruption, is actually telling to our seafarers, okay, you need to be careful with your stuff. First. Second, using and publishing photos from our ships, from our equipment, into the social media is forbidden. Okay? Take that as a ownership. This is something part of our policy. Okay? No disruption. Very simple step. Second step, and that is probably my bane, the innovation bane. We all have very, I will say behaviors, but at the same time, we also have a very, very simple thing that if we stand the computer without anyone playing, it becomes a safe window to safeguard the computer.
Yeah.
And, and still using the power, so still spending power electricity to actually have that. So one of the things that I went to my ICT and said, look, whenever the computer is not used for anything, it comes this screen. On this screen, I want to have the safety guards and safety security. And he looked at it, is that possible? Yes. So now what happens is, every time that they log to the computer, it comes a security thing saying, don't do this, don't do that, be careful with this, be careful with that. So, no disruption. Learning, training. The third thing that I did push, besides, of course, investing on equipment and tools and all this kind of things, so that I will not say, is something that I did learn and made kind of gaming on my previous company. I already told my previous company, but let's say with the same in Gaslog. That there's a kind of drinks day or afternoon that we all get together, the company, and we try to bond between ourselves.
Happy hour.
Happy hour. And what we said, if someone is able to catch one computer that is not locked and is standalone at the company, you can actually go there, pick up the email, group mail to everyone and say, next Friday I pay the drinks. So all the company know that someone did let their computer unlocked. And guess what? It did work. We start to get less and less and less. What did happen is the company had to pay the drinks on the happy hour.
Yeah. You didn't have to pay any time, right?
No.
Good. Good. So it's a fair point, and it's good that you've shared very low-hanging fruit that can be done without the disruption of
But
operations.
just also to give some words,
Yeah.
to put some words on that. As a manager, I don't care about the regulations, in the sense
Really?
that I take it as granted. Okay? So I'm not chasing anyone. I don't think no one is actually chasing the company about the compliance, anytime about cybersecurity. It's take it by granted, someone is there, there's resources that they need, the resources is required, it's taken as granted, compliance is there. What we want is to over-compliance, is the human factor.
Yeah.
The human factor is the training, and we never, we made it mandatory, the training, and you need to have the perfect score. If there's no perfect score, then we'll chase the person, what we can do to actually meet the standards, the high
Yeah.
standards.
Councillor, may I disagree?
Of course, and in fact, your question is setting you up for that disagreement. So allow me to present your question.
Yes.
It is, in your opinion, what are the top 3 human behaviors that create cybersecurity vulnerabilities? And please do give us a practical fix for each, because we cannot leave them feeling negative about this.
So you're asking for the silver bullets.
Yeah, the silver bullets, 3 of them.
Say I disagree. When I think about management, it's getting results. And you can imagine all those results that you seek after with your company. Getting those results is setting people and tools to work. You provide them with processes, procedures and protocols in the framework of rules and regulations. So that's, in a nutshell, my definition of management. About the scorecard, I think that seeing this whole organization, seeing cybersecurity and, from my perspective, the non-authorized use of Gen AI tools in the organization, and we know, of course, that BIMCO says that we have 2 threat parties, criminals, state and criminal organizations, and individuals at the workplace who use USB pen drives, phones, Um, I think that we need to start with a process of awareness, and such a scorecard can help in developing awareness. Okay, behaviors.
Behavior.
Yes. 3. We are wonderful problem solvers. I mean, look at where we are now in Athens, the base of Western civilization. Look at the ships from 2,000 years ago, and look to the wonderful vessel ships that we have now. We are wonderful problem solvers. 2, and also because we are lifelong learners, we seek for efficiency and effectivity. And that's what drives us. And that paid off when we look at our history, because our development is like this. The third thing is that we are very bad risk assessors. So we find solutions for every problem, even when we will use tools that are not authorized and possibly dangerous. We will serve our companies, our managers, our bosses, and of course our salary by becoming more effective and efficient, but we have no capability of good risk assessment. The silver bullet
Thank you.
is not there. we need a system approach. So we need to look at the system, and we need to train the system and make the system aware. There is no easy solution.
So if it is indeed systemic, then it means people, policy, and private enterprise has to come together.
Altogether. Yeah.
If I may,
Yes.
statistically, it is the public sector that is mostly affected by cyber attacks.
Yes.
Yeah.
Statistically.
Yes.
And also it is interesting to add another dimension to awareness, of course, which is supported through training. Common sense. Common sense. English
Not
judges.
so common sometimes.
Yeah, I'm fond of common sense, really.
Yeah.
English judges, in their rulings, they refer to common sense.
Yeah.
I think it is threatened nowadays, common sense, by so many things. But this is another discussion.
Yes.
Yeah, but because you have this system 1 and system 2, you know, the system 1 that makes us act and behave without thinking. System 2 is a monitoring capability of our brain, and what we need to develop is a systematic situation of uneasiness. We need to develop the capability of critical thinking, of reflecting to ourselves. So in that sense, I also disagree a little bit with you.
Not too much, I hope.
No, never too much. No.
Resolvable over drinks, no problem. So actually we are about 10 minutes, I think, and Lauren would probably want us to end on time. So I do have some questions, but I think I'll open up if you have questions so that we can at least ensure the audience is heard. Anyone? No one? Okay, great. I can carry on. Okay, please.
You were trying your telephone earlier on,
Yes.
and I remember 26 years ago in one of conferences of Lloyd's events, we had President Clinton's security of telecommunications. He said, guys and dolls, this is not a mobile, this is a radio.
Yes.
Now, big issue is that we need to safeguard our industry.
Right.
And post the invasion in 2014 of Crimea,
Yeah.
we have seen despicable things happening.
Right.
The solution, in my view, with all due respect, I don't care who's right, who's wrong, is those people who are doing this stuff to be ousted from the IMO. Because shipping is covering a great value of humans, of cargo and the environment.
Yeah.
And we know the tactics of the former Soviet Union, Russia today, of jamming ships outside their ports,
Yeah.
and this is very serious. And nobody raises his or her voice to stop this.
Yes.
And then, of course, Mrs. Varocci mentioned about the public sector being, is also the private sector. Imagine one of the biggest companies in Greece 22 years ago. I called the port captain who was running the biggest fleet on the Greek waters to ensure that the bookings of the passengers are secured. And when you go at the pier to board the ship with your car, you're there. So I brought with me one of my students who is an ethical hacker, studying, and we distorted that company's bookings. You can do on ships, airplanes, and the crucial thing that you mentioned, Ms. Varas, is the value of the freight rates and what can happen with this intrusion. And as soon as you wait for the last 5 minutes to confirm your fixture with your broker, somebody intrudes the last moment and steals you without working the fixture. Nobody intervenes. Not the Institute of Chartered Brokers, nobody does anything to safeguard this hard work that the brokers are doing with the owner of the charter. So we need to know from you, what do you think is the best remedy to stop these despicable actions distorting our shipping industry?
I very much like to respond to your question. I agree with you that there need to be some sanctions against governments, states, organizations, also individuals, when they do harm to society, to our world. I agree with that. I'm not so sure whether this must be at the IMO level, because that provides for a platform that we can still interact with each other. So, yes, sanctions, yes, trying to put a stop to it, but need it be on IMO level? I don't know, actually.
The IMO is not an enforcement authority. Enforcement is in the hands of of states, of national administrations, the judiciary, etc. IMO has nothing to do with enforcement. So if we are talking about punishment, etc., we shouldn't involve, legally speaking, the IMO. It's not its job.
Let me also bring something to this. I think it's very important what you just said.
The big issue is that the IMO has issued communiques vis-à-vis the stoppage of trading with Russia and Iran, the Grey Fleet or the Shadow Fleet.
Let me bring just two factors, just two things.
It's an important issue because they accept that there is a distortion of the sanctions. Sanctions are sanctions and they have to be kept.
I don't know who, how, but indeed I completely agree with you, even to defend myself as a ship owner. Okay, as a ship owner. But one thing I know is that company-wise, if I go to China, and recent we went, my phone had to stay in Greece, my computer had to stay in Greece, and the IT did give me a brand new computer without anything besides the basic tools, and the phone with the basic tools, and I went to China. The reason is security.
Yeah.
The second thing is I want to bring something that I did learn that I didn't know, but I hear in an innovation event like this one, that in that event was the authorities of Rotterdam, the police authorities from Rotterdam. And one of the things for the first time that I did hear was the authorities coming and saying, we feel bad that we don't treat the cybersecurity as a common law in the street. And they are starting to take some measures, even inside the city. Not sure if they expand to all Netherlands, but to Rotterdam, I said, we will be sure that in our governments, when it comes to bars, that everyone have free internet and all that. And our goal is to provide free internet to entire city, so we can actually safeguard the people that is in Rotterdam. So that is probably something that we need to start to push, is should we take the cybersecurity on our own, or actually go to the authorities and say, it's your job, it's my tax that is there.
Yeah. So I think shipping does suffer from this, well, it's a boon and a bane, where it is a little bit of a public good, and so sometimes in ports and terminals, you have to divide the responsibility. So that is a very fair point. And sorry, again, in the interest of time, I do want to ask Dr. Ileana, because you mentioned something with John's question as well. What do you think are the most pressing regional regulatory developments on the level of critical infrastructure?
On the regional level, we have an instrument which is a directive that is called NICE 2. It was mentioned before by the gentleman from the Thessaloniki port, and this instrument, which was transposed in Greece via a law adopted in 2024, so it's a recent instrument. It acknowledges the problem that we need to make sure that we don't have disruptions as far as important and essential entities are concerned on the level of cybersecurity. And water transport, this is not a shipping specific directive, it's a general thing, and among the sectors covered, we also have water, this is the terminology used by the directive, water transport. So water transport is listed among the essential sectors, which means that you have to do a tailor-made check as to whether your organization falls under the scope of this directive or not. And medium-sized and larger organizations, including shipping companies, to the extent that they provide services within the EU, can potentially fall, but this is something that we have to check individually under the scope of the directive. I hope I have the chance to say a few more words about compliance and resilience,
Yes.
dear Agashka.
I would
This is
like
a
that
very
too.
important point.
But she's our time master at this point.
Just-
Do we, can we, because we are 2 minutes out, but can we add in 5 more minutes?
Just the last
Okay,
comment.
then allow me to try and wrap up, right? I hope you both gentlemen, you're satisfied also, because I have to be called back again by Lauren, so I'm earning my keep. So I do want to wrap it up with something we all mentioned, lifelong learning. So from I will start with maybe I will start with Jose actually. What is your way of translating the cyber threats that happen into boardroom level conversation that is that has some financial and strategic language as well, because it is tough to monetize these things. And then how do you effect decision making from that perspective?
That I can tell. That I can tell you what I do. So every month I have a complete report from the cybersecurity manager in the hands of all the board. It's not just me, everyone receives, with the number of attacks that we had, the number of threats that we had, with the threat level between 1 and I think it's always low, so I don't know, let's just I hope,
That's a good flex. I don't know how high it goes. I am always on one.
But he actually exposed, and if there was any incident, explaining what did happen and how, and what mitigating fix that we have. And I also give always the training, penetration on the cyber security for every single employee, inclusive the ships. If we reach 100% of the employees, if we don't reach, and who's missing, and then we will chase who's missing actually, every month.
Okay.
Just to add in one sentence, only one sentence. What you used to do in the past, in the board room meeting starts with first safety discussion, and then close it, then we start the others. That's where the importance comes.
The safety is priority, yeah, okay. And now it's cybersecurity, so fair, absolutely true. And Albert, now beyond all these test scores and whatever we talk about, what are your practical metric that is proven for training that is proven for training that actually will reduce incidences.
Yeah.
Is there anything?
Yeah, absolutely. And I agree with you, Jose, that cybersecurity is safety. So we can think about human behaviors, not about knowledge, not about attitudes, not about, we need to look at behavior. So drills on board, drills in the company, fire drills, ship abandonment drills, so we can install drills and simulations in the workplace, announced and non-announced. And then look whether people are clicking on the link, whether they put a USB stick, pen drive in the computer, connect their phones, give in to social pressure, etc. So it's about looking at the behaviors. And then, of course, ChatGPT can give us answers when we ask for scenarios.
Yeah. And Dr. Eliana, you wanted to bridge the gap between two things.
Yeah.
Now,
Compliance
allow
and resilience.
me to set you up for this. So from your legal point of view, what do you think is the meaning of resilience in the context of cybersecurity, and how can professional development or lifelong learning also contribute to a better understanding of this?
Thank you. Let me start with the last point. There's a Greek expression, είναι όλα τα λεφτά, all the money, and I think this answer is probably the most interesting aspect as far as my answers were concerned to the audience. While cybersecurity is about protection, building walls, resilience is about withstanding, is about responding and recovering. You need to ensure training, you need to ensure competences. This is not just because it's nice to have. If we have jurists in the room, they may remember a case, Eurasian Dream, according to which the vessel was considered, cargo claims context, unseaworthy because the crew and the master were incompetent to handle firefighting equipment. In recent years, we had another case, the Libra case, because the passage plan was inaccurate and the vessel was considered unseaworthy because of this. I wouldn't be surprised to see a ruling saying that the vessel is unseaworthy, breach of contract of carriage, because you have failed to ensure training and the competence required for on the level of cybersecurity. So food for thought, and I have no doubt that the industry will grasp this challenge and go even beyond the standard required. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, we are now closing. Now I want to know in one sentence, okay? In one sentence, because frankly speaking, if you are here means you're interested in this and you want to take something back from this. So I'm going to ask for one sentence and one practical thing that people can do, or ship owners, operators, whichever part of the industry they're in, that they can do to make an effective change in even the second half of 2026. In one sentence. I have given them this question before. They are not going to be put on the spot so badly. So I hope you have something ready for me.
Yes, yes. Most important, starting tonight, buy yourself abonnement. What's the word for abonnement? An account. Buy yourself an account with Gemini, Claude or ChatGPT, Open AI, and start to learn, start to use it, because it will help you in a tremendous way, but do it safe and do it responsible, and also facilitate the people you work with giving them accounts, buying accounts for them, and setting up a framework in which they can use it safely and responsibility. Thank you.
So keep your friends close, but your enemies closer.
Yes.
Yeah. And how about you, Jose?
Mine is very simple. Whatever investment that you do on digitalization, cybersecurity needs to be inside that. Okay? So ask your supplier what they can do on cybersecurity level.
It is synonymous. It is synonymous. It's the same. And how about yourself?
Awareness, training, advice, and common sense.
Mm. That last one is the hardest because you can't buy the training for it.
We shouldn't lose it.
Shouldn't lose it. Okay, well, thank you so much. What a
And
great
one sentence
panel.
for our audience.
Yeah, sure. I'm just mindful of time. That's it.
One sentence only. You spoke about that we need to do benchmarking in cybersecurity with the best in your industry, right?
Yeah.
That's what we do it, right? But it is equally important that look at the other sector also, how
Mhm.
they're doing the cybersecurity, because sometimes you will reach a certain stage, probably
Yeah.
it will be difficult to make a substantial change, incremental improvement. Look
Yeah.
at the other and bring that best practice in your industry. So I'm giving a thought for everyone. Functional safety is very, very important in maritime, right? Because software implementation in shipping is keep on increasing. So what will happen if the function, intended function for which we have designed things, if it fails, then what it happens? Thank you.
Yeah, and in fact, to cap off your point, I was researching how much is the cybersecurity spend for aviation. And while many of us don't like to be compared with aviation for different reasons, it's about 3 times at the moment. So their spend is about 10 billion, like this is aggregate numbers, and ours is about 3.5 billion. So, and these numbers are of course meant to expand over the next few years, but the divide will increase. So it is, you're right, it is tough to catch up, to play catch up. It is better to invest in it now with decisions today. So now, again, you helped me to wrap up very nicely. I wanted to wrap up by saying, now cybersecurity is not a nice to have that we should, maybe we could, but it is a must. It is the very essential and basic standpoint from which we begin now. If there is human security and safety, then cybersecurity is just as important. So thank you for all your time, and thank you to Lauren for allowing us to extend, and to my lovely panelists. I hope you managed to get all your thoughts out, and if not, we can do it at the drinks as well.
Thank you for the
Yes,
moderation.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.